right, people, hello and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Cup Chasers podcast. Thanks for being here. It is the Summer Bracket Challenge. We've made it down to the quarterfinals, and there are some really spicy matchups. So if you're enjoying the bracket, go ahead and get the likes up on the video, subscribe to the channel, and get that notification bell on. All right, first up will be the toughest matchup we've come up against so far, maybe even tougher than Ronaldo and Ronaldo. It's Kylian Mbappe versus Ronaldinho. Tough one. Tough one. Bracket gods are not being nice. What do we think?
It's not that tough.
Says you. Why is it not tough?
As good as Kylian, as prolific as a goal scorer as Kylian Mbappe is, it does not matter what he does in his, he is not the player or the caliber or the icon that Ronaldinho is. Like, Ronaldinho is irreplaceable on a team sheet, man. To me, like, other than ZZ, if that's the only other 10, but I'm playing them both. Like, they're both irreplaceable. I'm making them play right next to each other. One's a LAM and one's a RAM. I don't care how you want to spin it, but you're both playing offensive mid.
I don't know, man. No, what does Ronnie have that Mbappe doesn't?
The God-given talent and ability to do whatever he wants to with that football. With that ball, you are not peeling. You can get the ball off Mbappe. You can knock Mbappe off his game. You can't get, unless you beat him. Unless you beat him, you can't catch Mbappe. True, you can catch Ronaldinho.
As fast as Mbappe.
I would say 5, but they're all play offense. None of them play defense.
I mean, yeah.
How many? Kyle Walker.
Maybe Kyle Walker.
Maybe Kyle Walker on defense.
You think Trent could beat could keep up with Mbappe in a foot race?
I think Trent and Reese are like this, and I would never bet on Reese to keep up with Mbappe. Like, Walker maybe, but like Vinny, Mudrick.
I don't know. Mbappe's a world
kept up with Vinny
champion.
Who?
Mbappe's a World Cup champion,
right?
And he carried that team. Ronnie's a World Cup champion, of course, but he was in a team of absolute superstars,
absolute monsters, right?
Absolute gods,
right?
You know, and Mbappe kind of carried the team twice.
I just.
Hey, man, I'm with you. I love Ronaldinho. I'm a huge fan. I'll always be a fan.
Huge fan.
He's got that X factor that's going to come out of left field. You just don't know. You just don't know what he's about to do, and it's going to make you smile because he's just got the ball on a string, like you say. But to win the Champions League final, to have that clutch gene. Like, if you're looking at the bench and you need a goal right here, right now, like, for me, for the way I like to watch the game, for the way I like to see the game, I'm a product of Arsene Wenger, of Wenger ball, and so speedy wingers, man.
Yeah.
Kylian Mbappe is the speedy winger of speedy, he's got the goals, he's got the cups. He just needs a Champions League, for me. And we've talked about it on the pod. Mbappe's potential, he could be the greatest ever.
Yeah.
And so maybe it's recency bias and maybe we haven't seen the best of Mbappe yet, but I just think, for me, I would pick Mbappe. Only just. It's no disrespect to Ronaldinho.
No, I know. That one, I mean, that's the hardest part, right? Is like, how do you choose and how do you sit both? But
absolutely. So tough.
It's just the skills. Like, it's the skills for me. That's what tips it over the top, is the skilling. What he's able to do with the ball, on the ball. And he can score. He has scored monster and dirty goals, just cheeky. He's just smart. Like
the free kick versus England in the World Cup.
It's just nasty. But like you said, if Mbappe gets a run, no one's catching him.
Nobody.
And he's got footwork. It's not like he can't skill the ball as well. Like we've seen him do some stupid stuff with the ball and his turns. It's just, to me, watching Ronaldinho was magical. It reminded me of, like, it was nice to see Ronnie play after a little bit past Zizi in that prime era of skilling when midfielders just did whatever they wanted to with it. And again, it's one of those moments where you come across a player like that and you look at him like, yeah, sure, not catching you, that's one thing, but like, what are you on? Like, how are you processing
another level
on that? Like, you know how to meg me 6 yards from now when you just did a half, Maradona, and you rolled that guy 3 steps to the left, and then you meg me and you acted like you knew I was going to be there. Like, he's got like instant transmission or something. Like, I don't know, dude.
He's teleporting.
Yeah, exactly. He skips time. He just pauses, and then when he hits play, you're like, what the?
He's 30 yards away.
Right. That.
What you telling me, Lewis?
I mean, the first thing I said was recency bias. I think if we're saying Champions League final, because not a World Cup, but a Champions League final, and the ball is stuck to him like glue, man. It's basically what X said. I mean, it's not even the pretty of it. It's just the technical of it. I know Mbappe can power past somebody. So what do you do when you have the whole team there? He'll dance through everybody. And I think that's enough. I mean, if I had like 10 seasons of Mbappe to go off of, my answer might be different. But I don't have 10 seasons, and I have a whole career on Ronaldinho. And I mean, I think Mbappe is the next guy, but today he unfortunately has to go down to the guy that already gave me a full resume.
Yeah, fair enough. That's very fair. This is very fair, of course. What you saying, Patrick?
I'm going to take I'm probably going to end up the same direction, but I'm going to take a different kind of step to this. I look at Leo Messi as playing with both players, and I look at the impact those two players had on Leo Messi. And if you were to interview Leo Messi, he's going to say that Ronaldinho was huge in his development and the type of player he became. I think that Mbappe is incredible. I love Mbappe. When he was playing in Monaco, I was begging, like, please end up at Chelsea. I beg you. And then we took Bakayoko instead. It's like, oh my gosh.
Whoops.
Which, I mean, we weren't going to get him from Paris anyways. But
his wages alone, yeah, Jesus.
Huh?
I said on wages alone, what they had to offer him.
Exactly. I think that there's a place for Mbappe down the line to be the greatest ever. I know we throw that around with Messi and whatnot, but considering what he's going to do at an international level, what he'll probably end up doing at a club level when he gets to Real Madrid, because we know that's where he's going. I think if we have this discussion 5 years from now, it'll be a different discussion. But I look at Ronaldinho. I was a fan of soccer, young kid, really didn't pay attention to players in general. But when that whole Jogo Bonito commercial came out and he's, doing tricks and flips and dancing and whatnot, I mean, you just stopped and watched. It was a commercial by Nike and you stopped and watched. And, you became a fan of the guy just because he was so special as a player and what he could do with the ball. And I think right now, I don't know how you could. I mean, I can see how you could argue Mbappe over him. I can see. But I think knowing what we know currently about Ronaldinho and what we don't know yet about Mbappe, I'm going to go with Ronaldinho.
Yep. Absolutely. I think he's definitely got the star power, definitely got the skills, the career. He's an absolute legend. I guess you guys kind of hit on it. I guess I'm influenced a little bit by the potential, by the recency bias as well. And I've obviously got to see a lot of Mbappe's career and less so of Ronaldinho's. Obviously, I've seen a million highlights, but as far as being able to watch full 90s, I've seen more of Mbappe. But yeah, absolutely. All right. We can move on to the next matchup. It is also a pretty strong one. We got Sergio Ramos coming up against Mr. Zinedine Zidane.
Easy. Yo, it's gonna be ZZ versus Ronnie at the end.
No, actually, they're
Are they on the same? They're on the same. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
No.
for me, it's everything I just said. Copy paste. It's Zinedine Zidane. It's easy every day of the week. That's the first name on my team sheet. That is my GOAT. That is my greatest of all time. He embodied every part of it. To be a midfielder and be that prolific and that magical. You talk about skilling. You talk about IQ, game knowledge, knowing where to, again, and not the fastest guy on the field, not the most physical guy on the field, but he had 80% of everything. And that's what it took to be one of the best during his era. When his era is star, you talk about icons and star-studded. That is a tough era to reign top 3, 4, 5. And he sticks out as
technically gifted.
I do. Other than Ronaldinho, he is the most technically gifted, by bar none. The man could use. It looked like he incorporated a martial arts movie, like what we see them do on martial arts movies, where I'm going to take a eraser in the classroom and hit it off my shoulder and fling it at the teacher, or whatever it might be, like those stupid kung fu movies. But he did it with he did it live on field with a soccer ball against defenders who were allowed to and did just maul you.
Yeah, the word you're looking for is decimate.
And he was able to make it look easy. And that's not easy. Like, what the things he was doing was not, I've tried, it's not easy. And he made it look effortless. Effortless. Game in, game out, no matter who he played for. And he started, and it wasn't one of those things where he like peaked really old, like in the skill section. Like, he had that. He used that. He utilized that his entire career.
I think I'll play devil's advocate, even though I tend to agree with you. I think Zidane just has that X factor that kind of puts him in a special category. But as far as winning, like I say, winning the Champions League, I mean, Ramos.
Oh yeah,
what he does, he's Mr. Champions League.
did he win all? Did he win 5?
I think he's got 5.
Did he get 5? Did he get 5 with? Yeah.
He's got the goals in semifinals, finals. Got captain's presence. World Cup champion. He's won it all. And the list that beats Sergio Ramos out of a spot in your team is very small. He's probably the first defender on the team sheet. I definitely would say he's the best defender in the bracket. Easily best left in the bracket, as there's only one other one. But I think he's definitely got a shout. I don't think it's as cut and dry as you might think. And I think there might be some younger fans who might maybe don't know, haven't really gained the respect that we have for Zidane, who might vote in Ramos, as far as what he's done recently. And he's still doing it. I've been seeing videos of him training in the sand. He's a free agent right now, Sergio Ramos. So you might see him at Inter Miami.
No, we could use you when Silva goes down. We're gonna need Ramos.
Silva and Ramos. Yeah. But yeah, for me also, it's Zizou.
Yeah.
What are we saying, Patrick?
We discussed the whole Ramos versus who was it the last round? Ramos versus Iniesta. And some of the stats that were rattled off about Ramos are incredible. He's like the 6th highest scoring player for Spain internationally. It's a defender. He's had huge goals. He's done things that defenders shouldn't do. He could play any position as a defender. If he was asked to play outside, he could play outside. If he needed to play, he mainly played inside, but he had that athleticism to do all 4 spots. So he's a rare breed. He really is. But Zinedine Zidane, again, quarterfinal against Brazil. If you disagree, just go back and watch that.
For you, is that one of the greatest performances ever?
Most definitely. It is. That was what, 2002? 6? So 2006 was a terrible tournament for the U.S., if I remember correctly.
It wasn't great.
They played. Who was it? They played.
We got beat
Czech
3-0.
Republic.
Got beat 3-0 by Czech Republic. We drew 1-1 with Italy, and then we lost
to Ghana. Yeah, that's right.
In overtime.
Yeah, that's the one though that I remember the most from that time was that performance.
No, it wasn't overtime, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, we didn't advance. It wasn't as bad as 98. 98 was really bad for the U.S.
We don't even need to talk about 98.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about 98. But the thing is I remember that still to this day. 2006 would have made me 21. So that was when I really started getting into international soccer, club soccer, and that performance. I mean, considering who he did it against, and then you throw in his performances for Real Madrid, he stands out amongst giants. He is one of the giants. And then throw in his career after playing. He's got two or three Champions League titles, and I think that's because he's just that great of a player that people want to perform for him. And and Hazard, he loved playing at Chelsea, but his idol was Zinedine Zidane. And when he had a chance to go just to play for him, he was like, let's go. I'll have some cheeseburgers in Spain now, But yeah, it's Zidane for me. Ramos is incredible. If it was another matchup, I think Ramos probably, considering what's out there still, he probably still doesn't win. But it's Zidane all day.
Yeah. Anything to add, Lewis?
I was, in listening, I'm just choosing because I said the same thing. But now I want to change intentionally just because whatever, and say I'm going to go with Ramos, and I'm going to say if I stick Ramos there, I think would Zizou be a problem for him? Yes, but I think Ramos would know how to tactically foul him. He would know how to get in his head. Ramos knows how to get in people's heads, so Zidane will headbutt him and get thrown out of the game. And Ramos, Champions League final, he can get to you. You never see Ramos do anything like that in the final, and so I'm going to use that. And then you say, well, Ramos played for him, and in that Ramos led in the area where tactically Zidane wasn't a tactician, so you needed someone to be the leader, the stalwart, the one to organize, and Ramos did that. So while my true vote is Zidane, I'm going to vote for Ramos because I think there's enough to say, you know what, it's not unanimous,
Yeah, I can see that.
I mean, yeah, I definitely have ton of respect for Ramos, for sure.
100, yeah. Like Jake said, yeah, best one of probably my number one center back.
Might be the best ever, yeah. It's just getting down to the legend.
Splitting hairs.
The icons of the game.
It's the icons, yeah.
Icon versus icon.
Yeah.
There was an argument of who's a better center half. It was Maldini versus Ramos.
That would be the argument, wouldn't you think?
Ooh.
That would be it. Definitely a lot of shouts in there, but yeah, tough to say no to old Zizou. Well, there you have it, folks. We will call it a night right there on the bracket challenge. If you're enjoying it, go ahead and smash up the likes, subscribe to the channel, and get that notification bell on. The semifinals are right around the corner. Thanks for listening, and have a wonderful night.